Let's try this. All right. All right, let's try this. Let's try this. Okay, so one, let's try this. So that's working now. All right. All right. I think I'm back on just the regular YouTube studio, so I will give it a couple minutes, see if see if one or two of you pop in, and we'll go from there. So chime in if you guys would when you get here. Maybe just drop a message in the chat. Let me know you're here. I know this works. I know YouTube Studio works. I've got it figured out. But just let me know if you guys are popping in. Even if it's just one or two of you, I'll get going here shortly and build this thing up along the way. Guys, it's holiday week, so probably not the greatest week to start a stream. Holiday 2 weeks, I should say. Okay, so it's working over here on my other windows. So yeah, I've got the YouTube Studio part worked out. All right, yeah, just let me know as you guys pop in. Just drop a text, drop a chat saying hello, or Tiger, you suck at electronics, or something like that. Remember, I'm a trader. I'm not a not by any means a guru on all this streaming stuff, but I will be. I will put my mind to it, and I will figure it out. Actually, I'll have my company help me out. I'll do a dry run with them later today, hopefully, or tomorrow, and see if they can get me rolling. Yeah, because I spent 2-3 hours grokking exactly how to sync up YouTube Studio to OBS, and I thought I had it right, but all of a sudden my webcam stopped working, and I deleted it, and I tried to re-add it. Nothing was working, so it was maximum overdrive. I don't know if you guys has anybody in the chat, have you ever seen the movie Maximum Overdrive? It's where it's from the 80s. It's where all the machines of the world went against everybody and started killing everybody. So crazy movie. Emilio Estevez, Charlie Sheen, I think, was in it. It's crazy, but all right. I see more than I see a couple. I see one or two of you in here. So I'm going to go ahead and first of all, before I get started, somebody send a message in the chat saying hello. I know I had one of you on here just a few minutes ago when I was messing with my system here. So if you can, just let me know you're here. There we go. There's Cherry. Hey, there's Cherry. Hi, Cherry. Cherry, you probably missed it. I was trying to mess around with a software to eliminate the dropped stream sharing, because that's what I was running into last week. Was every time I would get going on sharing a chart, you guys saw where my chart would drop. So I went over to OBS software, spent 3 hours trying to figure it out. And anyway, I don't want to rehatch it again, but I couldn't get it to work. So I'm getting a late start here, but that's okay. I'll hang on here as long as you guys want. I'll go at least an hour, okay, hour and a half or so. So just let me know along the way what you guys are thinking. It is a holiday week. It is a slow week. This is now the second slow week in a row. Very thin liquidity on a Monday, okay, according to some of the articles I was looking at. Yeah, this is a great week to, it's not necessarily a great trading week, but there's usually an opportunity or two here and there, despite it all. But outside of trading, it's a good week to kind of reflect and look and, brush up on some skills. Me, I'm a supply and demand trader, as you guys probably know. So let me turn this volume down over here. Perfect. So look, the basics of supply and demand trading are simple. It's just all the nuances that go into it that take time to master. Right. So, but having said that, even though it's a simple process, there's always something to learn or get on top of. So let's take a look at what we've got going. So yeah, like I said, along the way, guys, just let me know if any specific tickers you'd like me to look at. I can tell you right off the outset, the main things I'm looking at this week are U.S. indices, the Japan index, the Nikkei, and then 3 bullish currency pairs and 2 bearish currency pairs. So let's take a look at those real quick. And let me make sure that my chart moves over. Share this tab. So here we go, guys. We got, and by the way, the metals are popping too, right? Gold and silver. I don't know if you guys have seen the silver chart from Friday, but it jumped 10.5% in one intraday session. So, and it's no surprise. I mean, it's getting a bullish signal of 8. Okay. You guys know I lead off with this every single day, every single morning. Okay. My edge finder. Okay. Giving me my technical outlook, my sentiment outlook, and then of course my fundamental outlook on all these assets I trade. So, basically, long story short, is it giving a bullish or a bearish signal? Each one of these reports that we see in our economic calendar every single day, right? Flipping over to my economic calendar, by the way, guys, it's a slow week. So let me do this. Apply filters. I'm going to get, oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, wait a second. Yeah. Why is that not showing? Oh, that's why I didn't select this week. Sorry, guys. I'm just shelved today. Not figuring out that dang program. So look, the only things we got going on this week is nothing today for one. Okay. I put on the orange folder events just to fill it, fill the space with something. But we've literally got nothing today except for our U.S. pending home sales. It's not typically a very big mover like the red folder events. Tomorrow we got the FOMC minutes. Okay. So that's usually something that comes out in a big, gigantic, ugly, boring document. And then I'll usually take that document and filter it through Grok or DeepSeek or ChatGPT and just tell it to filter it down into a half-page summary. That's all I care about. I don't care about all the fluff, right? We shouldn't. As traders, we don't. Just give me the basics. Give me the meat and the potatoes, right? So anyway, that's tomorrow. And then Wednesday is our normal weekly unemployment claims. And there you go. That's all we have for the week. Is the DAX bullish or bearish on your score? It's neutral. DAX is neutral. So I don't really have a strong bullish or bearish bias to it. If we go and isolate my neutral items here, well, let's just do only actually. Okay. Now look, the DAX is a +4. So remember, +5 or higher is a bullish score. +4 is technically neutral. So if I personally wanted to buy the DAX, okay, I mean, I definitely would want to buy it way more than sell it right now, even though it is a neutral score, right? So I just need one more good piece of information for the index, right? To help the case for a bullish bias. But at the moment, okay, a +4 just doesn't quite cut it. But I mean, we could take a look at it from a technical standpoint for sure. Let's go flip on over to my chart. We'll take a look at the DAX. Where are you at, DAX? Okay, the German 40. Okay. Take a look here. Yeah, at one point I drew up this kind of expansion, these expansion legs, which actually kind of flattened out. Some call it the megaphone pattern. You guys have probably heard us call this pattern a megaphone pattern. I drew this up back here in time because these points connected greatly, but it never really started going towards the top end of it. So I don't know if this is really truly a megaphone pattern at this point. The one thing that makes the most sense to me at the moment is the fact that, and this is a daily chart, by the way. So on a daily chart, we actually bounced into a daily supply zone. Okay. Now you guys see that that red box up there. That's probably a 4-hour supply zone. Let me go double check here. Let's go zoom in. Okay. So yeah, and I'm going to delete this megaphone pattern because I don't even think it's truly that anymore. So let's get rid of that. Okay, we got a 4-hour supply zone up here. Okay, at the very top of that daily supply. So that's a pretty good confluence. And as you see, price at one point, and I haven't even looked at DAX in weeks, by the way, right? But as you can see, it bounced in, it wicked in nicely to that supply zone, and the bottom just fell out of it. So it just goes to show that the confluences of these supply zone time frames works pretty nicely. So yeah, it fell away all the way down to this demand down here, right? And then it turned around and went the other way. Well, I'm not, at this point, I'm not worried about any of these supply zones. So really what I'm going to do now is just turn this one black, just because it tells me that it's dead, right? It's dead to me at this point. Same thing with the daily. So I'm going to get it out of my way. Okay. But I still want to leave it there just so that I know it has recently been touched. Now it's been chewed all the way through, so I'm not worried about it. But yeah, at this point, I'd be wanting to buy this thing, if anything, right? And that's a 4-hour time frame. So let's take a look and see if we can find a demand zone, right? Well, this right here was a demand zone for a minute, but it looks to me like it's gotten touched. Zoom in real quick just to make sure if that got touched. Okay, so it got touched, right? That wick came in. So at that point, because that wick came into this demand, the demand zone is it's not as strong as it was. Reset chart. So what I would do in this case is I would leave it there because it just barely wicked into it. But what I'll do is bring it forward and then just turn it light green, telling me that there's something fishy about it, or it's been mitigated just barely. It's not like it went over 50% of the way through the zone, right? It just touched the top and ran off. So I still want to be aware of it, but I don't know that I'd be wanting to buy it necessarily. But if I get a really strong turnaround in the zone, like a reversal pattern, like a really strong bullish engulfing candle on a 1 hour, on a 15-minute, on something like that, then maybe. I have drawn a channel. Yeah, H1 ascending on DAX. Okay, H1. Yeah, I guess you're referring kind of this area here then. Okay. Yeah, I mean it's very lazy. Of course, you know that I like to buy discounts, and if I'm trying to buy this in discount, yeah, I mean maybe this area, but maybe just wait till it comes all the way to the origin of the strong move up, which would be down here. So if I'm drawing demand zones on this thing, I'd probably be drawing it. I mean, obviously, I'd be drawing it down here on a 4-hour for sure, because that would obviously be the higher probability. But here's what I also see. Did this area, was it strong enough to break through a structure? Okay, it looks like it broke through this structure right here because, well, yeah, as you can see with the wick right there. And it kept going. Only problem is it didn't break through the biggest one up here yet. Not yet. Right? So I just feel like this is too sideways choppy for me, for my taste. Now, yeah, you could look at this zone here and say it did break this structure. It just depends on what your definition of a structure is. Yeah, I'm just looking at this a little further here. Daily, 4-hour. Yeah. The highest probability, in all honesty, is probably a return all the way down here to this daily demand. See, we got this daily candle here, this green candle with a gap above it, but between those two wicks right there. So yeah, I mean that would be the strongest daily zone all the way at the beginning of this strong move. But at this point, you got to keep in mind also we're in a daily. We're still trying to chew through the last bit of that daily supply. So I don't think it's much of a threat. But the one above it and to the left is, look over here. Look over here. Okay. Now we're still a little ways away from it, but not too far. So there's another daily supply zone up there, right? So is the reward to risk worth it? That would be the question to ask. I mean, if you're getting into a position somewhere in this area, you got to be aware that this higher time frame supply might take price and bounce it, back down, right? So, yeah, I mean, and down here you see I've got inside of that daily, I've got a what have I got? A 4-hour, 2-hour maybe, or a 1 hour? Yeah, what did I draw up? Looks like a 1 hour. So let's go back over here to this daily. And we got the, yeah, pretty much 1 hour. Okay. So that would be the best confluence, but it's a long ways away. I think it's too expensive up here, Cherry, myself. And plus, it's not even matching my fundamental reasons to buy this thing. So, yeah, if you had a gun to my head and told me I had to get into a position, it would definitely be a long position. Maybe I take a chance at this zone down here. Now, it's been mitigated on the 4-hour time frame, but now we're on the 1 hour. So let's go see what the 1 hour looks like. Let's zoom in here just a little bit. Okay. Well, you can see right there, we got a 1 hour candle and a little tiny bit of a gap above it. So we could even draw, well, I wouldn't draw it. I just put a line here, but there's a line at the top of the 1 hour zone. Right? So maybe this area here at 24,138 ish, right? Maybe that might be a good bounce point. Unfortunately, the German 40, the DAX on here, I don't get a volume spread analysis candles showing. So I can't really get a true gauge of it just because for whatever reason, I can't find the index where the volume actually works on this thing. So yeah, that would probably be it. Hopefully that helps you out. You know, maybe a return to this price point to see what happens. But if nothing else, you got a higher probability down below. So yeah, me personally, I wouldn't touch it. There's too much in the way of it. Overhead supply. I don't have the volume. It went sideways for a week, as you see. Okay, this is a week of price action. It just went sideways. Just boring. So either break out above, break out over this overhead supply, or give me a deeper discount down to like this demand zone. Probably be something I'd be waiting on. But so yeah, I hope that helps on the DAX there. What else we got here? As far as top setups, I'll clear this tab again, guys. So, and I'm going to get rid of the neutrals and just give me the bullish and bearish. So again, silver and gold, okay, 8 and 7. So those are definitely on my buy list. And all the indices as well, NASDAQ, S&P, there's the Dow. And then as far as currencies goes, we got the New Zealand, the Kiwi dollar, and then the sterling dollar, and then the New Zealand dollar. So let's just take a look at those currencies real quick. How about what do you say? So New Zealand dollar, okay. New Zealand dollar is over here. Now this is currently bouncing into a zone. I got to be honest with you. So let's go down. So let's see, 1 hour time frame, 2 hour time frame. Okay, so this is where I'm at, guys. So we got a 2 hour demand right here, where it's currently chewing through, and as you guys see, it's trying to form a nice wick. Right. I'm back. I swear. I'm back, ladies and gents. I'm back. There I am. Sherry, can you see me now? Let me know if you can see me, Cherry. I have a $3,800 laptop. Okay. I have a $3,800 laptop. I'm running about 12, 14 Windows. There's no reason this should be doing this. Yeah, this was the whole reason I went to OBS in the first place last week, because I kept doing this, kept happening, kept dropping. I don't know why it's dropping. I don't know if I need to upgrade. I don't know what's going on with it, but if I just have to reconnect every so often, I guess that's how I'll have to get through it for now. But anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, so just back to where I was at, guys, with the Kiwi. I mean, I like where it's at right now. I really do. I kind of like the way this thing exited and went north. Now that's where it's at now. So what I want to see is a break of structure. So where did I have a recent swing high? Well, really kind of depends on the time frames. I like to go to some of the smaller time frames. And the immediate swing highs I see would be right here. And that's why I drew that white line out And then there's another one up here even further. So, ultimately what I'd like to see is a new demand zone form down here where price is at in the zone itself. So, okay, if I go to a 15, depending on where this candle closes, this could be a 15-minute zone, but I wouldn't use it unless we break this structure right here. So come up here and get a close and then retrace. And then this could potentially be a demand zone, but I don't know that yet. So this is where patience, this is where a lot of patience comes in trading, right? Just because it hit my zone, depending on where it's at in relation to the curve, okay, the overall curve analysis, so the swing lows and swing highs, right, dictates if I pull the trigger or not. But in this, all right, Sherry, I'm going to try this one more time. If this fails, I may have to get on with my team ASAP. 1, 2. All right. Yeah, I'm going to try this one more time. And if it fails again, yeah, if it fails again, I may just have to get with them and have them hook up with me. Okay, so you can see me now. Is that right? No, you say no. Yeah, let me know. Yes. Okay. All right. We'll try this again. And otherwise, I may just have to get with my team. Maybe I should have spent $10,000 on a laptop. I wouldn't be having this problem, right? No, it's ridiculous. I got more than enough laptop. I have my new trading computer, by the way, but I have to get a webcam and get it set up. So I currently don't have a webcam. That's why I'm not using it. This trading computer is fast. It is strong, and I guarantee I won't be having any issues with it. Hopefully, but famous last words, right? So yeah, just to finish my thought on New Zealand dollar, I like the zone. I have to recognize that this is a confirmation entry. And if price breaks through the rest of this demand zone and goes down to this demand zone, okay, this is a confirmation as well. I'd feel a little bit more better. A little more better. Listen to my English. I'd feel a little bit better, a little better than this zone about a limited order, but I still would want to do a confirmation entry. So yeah, all I can do right now where we're at is just play the waiting game. Okay. I really need to see a break of structure to the upside, just like I drew up. Break a structure, just come up here and close somewhere up in this area, and then a return to price to hit this demand zone. Oh my gosh. Show my chart. I'm sorry. All right. There we go. Okay. So confirmation entry. That's the bottom line on New Zealand dollar. Confirmation entry. So confirmation entry from this demand zone, which is currently where I'm at. Confirmation entry. Okay. I do not know why my chart keeps not showing. I don't understand it. I'm not telling. All right. Oh my God. All right. So that's sorry. So that's pretty much it for New Zealand dollar, guys. I'm going to wait on it. Okay. I've got an alert set. If it breaks this, let's see here. I set an alert if it comes back out of the zone. So I want to watch. Basically, what I want to watch is what happens once it gets up to that structure. Now, why did that do that? Yeah, right there's. Whoa, that's weird. Huh? I'm moving my alert and it's not moving. What the hell is up with everything today? I'm moving my alert and it's popping back down. You guys see that? What the hell? What the hell is going on with my stuff today? Let's delete it. Yeah, it's supposed to stay there. Like, I don't get it. Delete. New Zealand. Delete. Give me a second on this. Oh, now it wants to. Now it's up there. Okay. Well, that's still not where it's supposed to be. I'm trying to move my alert. Okay, New Zealand dollar alert. Move right there. Okay, now it's wow. Maximum overdrive like crazy. Okay, that's the alert I was trying to set. No, it's this one. It's this one. I'm sorry, guys. I'm all over the place. This is the alert I want because I want it to break this structure. But when it breaks the structure, I want it to alert me because I want to be looking for this bend back down. Okay, back down into demand. So there we go. All right, the chart's showing we're good. All right, all right, guys. So let's move on. Okay, New Zealand dollar is going to be my number one watch for the moment. But let's move on to pound dollar real quick because it's going to look fairly similar. Okay. Again, it's giving me a bullish bias, right? So I got a daily demand. I got a 4-hour demand right here. Okay. So I need it to come down just like the green line shows right here. Need it to come down, give me a discount. Remember, I always look for discounts. Or if I'm shorting, I always look for premiums. Okay. The pricier, the better if it's a short sell. Right. So it's just the opposite here. So I got a 4-hour demand. You guys see I got an alert set right there. Okay. One at the 1.34 cycle level. So I wish this 4-hour zone was inside of the daily a little more. I mean, a part of it is, but not the whole thing. So this is where I got decisions to make. You know, if I buy on this 4-hour demand zone, well, where do I want to put my stop loss? Right? Got some options, but it just depends on how aggressive I want to be. Obviously, the aggressive option is if I put my stop loss just below the 4-hour zone itself. Right? It's probably a little too tight, but you know, just somewhere under there. That'd be the aggressive way to do this. But I also know that daily zones get some of the best bounces, and oftentimes at the beginning of it, but sometimes they go through a little deeper, halfway, 2/3, sometimes at the bottom. Right? I don't like zones that get penetrated all the way through though, because if it was that strong of a zone to begin with, it typically would hit on the proximal line somewhere in that area and then bounce. But again, if I want to be conservative, stop loss would go clear below the daily zone. So it just depends on your risk tolerance on this, and it depends on how price enters the 4-hour zone. If it enters and I get that reversal pattern, really strong 5, 10, 15-minute bullish engulfing candle, well, and game on. Let's be a little aggressive and put the stop loss below the 4-hour zone. Right. So I don't know yet. Just depends on what happens when price enters. But as it stands, the entry would be, preferably where the 4-hour at least starts meeting the daily. So if I zoom in, okay, at least where the 4-hour starts meeting the daily. So that would mean, down in this area. So that would be the play, I think, on. And here's the other thing I love about this. Oh my God, my chart. I got it. And the other thing I like about this this demand zone area is the fact that I've got this upwards trend line. So this is really cool. This is what I love about trend lines. Right? Most people, when price hits the trend line, they buy, right? In this example. So what happens if we go through it? What do most people do? They start selling the breakout. So if you think about it, they're selling the breakouts and basically providing liquidity for the banks to go the opposite way. So they're selling and they're giving me the order. They're giving the banks the orders to buy, right? Because the banks are buying all these orders. Why? Because it's in a demand zone. So you got a demand zone just underneath an upwards trend line. That's powerful. That's pretty powerful. So this is where basically the old saying is, we suck in the shorts and smoke them fools. Right? It sounds harsh, but that's the reality of it. It's not. This is a game. This is one big game. It's one big mind game. It's one big game of fear and greed. Right? One big game of it. So yeah, you get the shorts that come in here because of the breakout to the downside. They're selling right into the buyer's hands. Unfilled orders, and provide liquidity for the big banks. So yeah, it's really nothing any more than that. But it's easy to get carried away and want to short this because it's a breakout, because that's what all of our traditional technical analysis books teaches. Right? I mean, it might just teach. Some of them do teach just as soon as you break and close below, you short. Some of them teach, some of them teach that when you get the breakout, you wait for the retracement to the line and then sell it like that, right? So that's another option. Well, but in either case, this is why I always say traditional technical analysis books, for the most part, are garbage, because they're basically teaching you how to be the liquidity for the banks. Nobody wants to say that. I'll say it. It's a hot take. If it is, great. If not, no big deal. But yeah, traditional technical analysis books, guys, they just don't work. Most of them don't. They really don't, because that's providing liquidity for the banks all day long. When those textbooks are telling people to short right here. Banks love this. They have to have a lot of sell orders to fill their buy orders, right? The opposite way. So anyway, yeah, that's just to put a bow on it. I mean, that's what I love about these upwards trending or downwards trending lines if I'm trying to short, right? It's just the fact that they create liquidity every single time on the opposite side of it. And when there's a zone just below that, ooh, beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. So that's pretty much it on pound dollar. Let's take another look over here at my top setups. I really want to show silver. So let's go look at silver, because it's given me the strongest score of what I personally trade. I don't trade Russell just because I don't have it on any of my brokers. Okay. It's not in my asset list. I would like to, especially today, because it's getting a very bullish signal. So let's go take a look at the silver and gold chart, because gold's right behind it at a +7. So silver +8, gold +7. Let's go flip back on over here. All right, silver. Now look at this. This was Friday. Let me turn my drawings off. Look at this Friday candle. If we measure the bottom to the top of that, that's 10.5%. That is a gigantic increase. So what do you think is going to happen today? All right, this is our candle. That's our today candle. Well, here in the U.S., this candle started yesterday on Sunday, right? Sunday at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. So this is, as you can see, is this a surprise? No, absolutely not. Not when you have a gigantic move up over the course of the year, and then all of a sudden, a day or two after Christmas, you get this gigantic ass increase, right? Again, 10.5%. So is it a surprise it's fallen? No, it's got to catch its breath. Well, guess what? At this point for silver, you guys see, well, first of all, it's just littered in demand zones underneath, right? A lot of dailies, a lot of 4 hours, a lot of 1 hours, and price every time has just run away from them, except for this one here. Let's go down to a 4 hour. Let's take a look at this. And I'm going to keep an eye on my charts just to make sure they're not going off. I drew up zones back here in, beginning of December. Price never came back. Right here, price did come back. Right? Look at this one. So I had this demand zone. Price came back, wicked in beautifully, and took off. Okay, so there's one that worked out. There's one that got skipped, and there's one that worked out. I drew another one on a smaller time frame that just kept going. I drew this daily 4 hour right here, and price never came back. So in other words, a lot of these zones I draw up, they just get off and they get ran off and left because price is so strong right now. Now, do I know this way back here? No, I don't know that. But again, I'm not chasing price, because if I'm chasing price, I'm buying way up here, after price has left my zone. Well, I don't want to do that. I want to wait for the discounts. And if I miss a lot of trades, so be it, because I will get one or two of those and they'll be nice runners, right? But anyway, yeah, that one, this zone worked perfect. This one got missed. This one got missed. This one here got missed. Uh, this one here got missed. I mean, it just kept going. So now prices finally returned to a 4-hour demand. Okay. Do I want to trade this? Well, let's think about this for a second. Because we had the big gigantic move Friday, but now we got an equally big gigantic move down. It even gapped up yesterday on the Sunday open because it gapped higher than the close on Friday. Now it's coming down. So let's look and see what volume is doing. Is it coming down hard? Is it coming down on strong volume or weak volume? Well, I would have to say the strongest volume candle was obviously the intraday session open on Friday, right? It'd be that big yellow candle there, okay, or the volume candle below. That's the volume spread analysis candles right here. It was just strong and potent throughout the rest of Friday. And then all of a sudden yesterday, we opened clear up here, okay, $84. It banged into the $84 level at one point and then dropped. Now, did it drop on strong volume? Much bigger candle. But was the volume bigger? No, it got smaller. So with this big drop on less volume, guys, I don't think I'm too worried about this thing continuing down. Right? I don't think I'm too worried about this candle. So now that I know that I'm in a 4-hour demand zone, I just want to see, because again, I have to keep in mind, it is still all-time highs, pretty close to it. I mean, it's super expensive. Do I want to just take a stab at this now and get in? Well, let's see what the price did once it came down. So it came down one time and wicked in. Okay, that was that big candle. Now, that's a huge momentum candle. I didn't want to get in here. I was watching price when it entered this zone yesterday. But after seeing it just drop like that, who knows how far down that would have went? Well, it just so happened to bounce off and got a slight increase. Well, it didn't really move. I don't think let's measure that move actually. Okay, so let's just assume a stop loss down here. Let's call it 2.30, and it moved 2.3. So I guess it did move 2 to 1. So here's the thing. So it's already moved to 2 to 1 from this zone. Now you see there's a white line below because there's another time frame down below. So now we're in this area. So at this point, because it hasn't went any further, I'm probably just going to wait for a break of structure on this thing. Now I drew this line up here. Okay. I drew this line here. Kind of the line in the sand. Hey, break this structure and then retrace down to a newly formed demand. So let's go down to a smaller time frame. And yeah, that's really what I want to see at this point on the silver market. Let's break this structure, okay, and then return to price for a buy. Now, I would like somewhere in this area to form a nice candle with a big expanded range candle out. And again, close above this point. If it does that, then we're in business. We can draw up a demand zone box down here and we'll be in some business. So it's not there yet. I still need to sit on my hands. Okay. I still need to sit on my hands and wait for price to come up here and close and then return down. A lot of sitting, a lot of waiting. It'd be way too easy for me to pull the trigger right now and hit the buy button. But here's the thing, it's already hit price one time. So for all I know, the rest of this 4-hour demand zone could be weak. It's mitigated, right? This mitigated right here. And pretty much gave us a 2 to 1 already, right? So I don't know. I got to be careful down here. Now, this is where I'll start watching price structure down here. So what are my highs and lows looking like? Now let's go down to a 5-minute. So lower high, lower low, lower high. And I would just claim this as the lower low. So I would stay pessimistic about this until it gives me an optimistic point of view. Lower highs, lower high, lower low. Now we've got a little bit of a higher high. So is this going to be our new higher low? I don't know yet, But if it does, look, here's the thing. If this somehow starts swinging around to the upside, well, give me this other higher high. But again, break this structure. And if it breaks that structure, then I would be okay on waiting on that retracement back to a new demand zone in here somewhere. I mean, you know, it could possibly be a good place to enter right now and get a really dang good reward to risk. But here's the thing. I feel like because it's at an all-time high, it's super expensive. I just want it to prove itself. You know, even though I've missed countless demand zones, as I've shown over here, you know, I've missed most of those demand zones. And now it's finally hit a zone. Tiger, you're not going to hit the buy button? Well, no. I'm going to need it to prove itself. That is, in all fairness, a pretty deep discount compared to where price was at yesterday's open. But it's too small amount of a time, right? I mean, we could get a slight bounce and then just completely blow through the rest of this for all I know. So I'm just going to keep an eye out on it on the smaller time frame, probably this 15-minute or 10-minute time frame. And again, if we can close above this structure up here, return to price, then we're in business for a buy. But until then, sitting on my hands. And also light liquidity. Okay. Remember, this thing just had a gigantic drop. But again, it was on lower liquidity relative to those two big candles on Friday. Much bigger candle, but less volume. So that is effort and result in Wyckoff theory not matching up. If this volume bar on this big ugly red candle, if that were bigger than the previous day candles, well, that's a little bit more strength on the short side, on the bearish side. But we didn't get the volume. We didn't get the relative volume relative to these candles back here on Friday's big gigantic push. So all I got is kind of an empty shell. Is it a false move down? That's kind of the way I see it. I don't know. But I would be willing to step in and place a buy order if it meets my rules. If it breaks my structure and then returns to a newly formed demand. Because by that point, I'm having higher highs and higher lows. That makes it a lot more appetizing to get into a trade in this area. And then obviously you guys see I've already drawn up a supply zone. So I've got a natural, look at that. That's as perfect as it gets as far as a take profit. Okay. This supply zone up here. Now that's obviously Sunday open for me here in the States. Sunday open. Gigantic drop. That's a natural take profit just below that zone. So I'll just keep an eye on this. I need to actually put an alert on this. And I'll probably put an alert on it right here at that structure so that if and when it returns to price and breaks that structure, now I'll know to put an alert down lower on a demand zone. So let's just throw this out through the end of day Friday. Now I'll watch what I do here. So this is where alerts come in really handy. Hey, Tin de Bashir, how's it going? No, you know what? I remember we saw you write out your name the other day, actually. Dubashir. It's like a D-U-H. Dubashir. Yeah. Welcome, nevertheless. Thanks for joining me. And Cherry. I was having a fit earlier with the software. The OBS software. I couldn't get it to work. So I'm just doing this today through YouTube Studio. And every now and then that drops. I just have to reset it, refresh it. But yeah, welcome. And look, I'll be on here another 25 minutes or so. So if you have any assets you want me to look at, definitely throw in the tickers. Okay. And we can definitely take a look at them. I was just going through silver here. The silver market was crazy the other day. So yeah, just to wrap a bow on this thing, I'm starting to get that early indication that it wants to give me some higher highs and higher lows. So yeah. Break structure, close, return to price at a demand zone. Guys, this might be my favorite place to buy today. If, can't emphasize that enough, if it meets my rules and jumps through my set of hoops, if price comes to me, I am not going to chase price. Saxawad, how you doing? Good morning. So yeah, that's silver, guys. Let's look at gold. Take a look at gold. Okay, gold, likewise, kind of bounced into a demand zone, but it's already been mitigated, so I don't think I want to touch it. Let's go look at this green box over here. Okay, see what we got over here. So this was a, what do I have, a 15-minute? No, it was a 30-minute. So this was a 30-minute demand at one time. Let's go. Yeah, look at this, guys. Okay, 30-minute demand. It broke a structure, but it did it on lesser volume each time. See how as this price got higher and higher? See how the volume bars below got smaller and smaller? That's another example of effort not meeting result. Wyckoff theory, right? Accumulation, distribution. Except in this instance, as price got more and more expensive, the interest got lower and lower. So do I really want to be that excited about that move when the volume or the interest got lower and lower? Probably not. So that's why I ended up, I drew it green to start with. But as you can see, didn't matter because when price bounced into that zone, turned into what a would-be winning trade, right? You just never know. You never know. This is a lot more interesting if the volume grows. In this case, it did not. But still, despite my lack of liking it, it still works out, right? That's just how picky I've gotten after 12 years of studying these dang boxes, these green and red boxes, right? So anyway, I can't use this demand zone anymore because it's already been touched. It's already been mitigated. So I expect it to chew through the rest of this. I would expect that. Could it go ahead and move back to the opposite side? Yeah, absolutely it could. Would it surprise me? No, because I know the power of supply and demand zones. I just don't want to put money on the fact of it working a second time after unfilled orders have already been taken out of that price range. Remember, it's all about unfilled orders. And you guys see me looking to the right every 5 seconds. I'm just double checking my YouTube stream over here, making sure everything's looking good. So yeah, I'm not interested in that price point anymore. I am interested in this price point down here, right here. So there's a 4-hour demand zone inside of a daily. But because I'm so picky, what's my volume situation look like? Right? What's my volume situation look like on the leg out candle over here? All the way to the bottom. Looks pretty bad, doesn't it? Looks pretty bad. Now, the saving grace for that zone, that price point, is the fact that if you go back in time, okay, this demand zone had enough power to break through a swing high, a double top, a supply zone, right? So price down here came up, but then it got lazy and went sideways. So the real strength to me came from this area. Even though we didn't see the volume, guys, remember, that's one odds enhancer. Volume is one odds enhancer. Now, it's one of my favorite odds enhancers, but it's not the only one. So the whole goal in getting into or out of a trade is how many odds enhancers can I stack in my favor? Well, I can't use the volume as an odds enhancer, but I can use the fact that it broke a former resistance point. Okay. It broke a double top. And the fact that the zone is well positioned just below that. So again, there's going to be traders that buy just because of this point right here. If price comes down a little deeper, right? There will be people that will see this point back in time and they'll wait. And as soon as price hits that dash line, they're hitting the buy button. And they're putting their stop loss below, right? Where are they putting their stop losses? Right in that demand zone where the unfilled orders are. So if they're buying, what's their stop loss going to be? It's going to be a sell order, right? It's going to be sell orders down here. And I'll just mark it red just for the moment. Actually, I'll just mark it light red. Sell orders, right? There's going to be sell orders down here when these traders buy. So let me just take this right here. Let's just say they buy right there, right? Yeah, their sell orders are going to be down here. Well, what does a big bank need to fill a buy order? It needs a lot of sell orders. It needs a lot of unfilled orders from the zone itself. So adding together the unfilled orders plus the sell orders, which is liquidity, now the banks have a place to buy. They have a place to put in a healthy position to the long side. So that's why I'm not interested in buying the touch of the resistance. I'm interested in the unfilled orders and the liquidity, which is down here, because I want to ride their coattails. Right? That's a high probability setup. Now, price could very easily just go right through it. Okay. Well, we don't know that. Nobody knows that. Not even some banks know that. Okay, they're not all great at their job. Most of them are. But there's some banks that'll screw this area up. You know, insurance firms, hedge funds, whatever. But that's okay. Because if that zone fails, guess what? I got another confluence down here. Another 4-hour daily demand. Refresh my stuff. There we go. Got my goodies refreshed for you guys. So yeah, I mean, so that's why so like I said, I'm not interested in the zone of 10. And as you can see, as I've been talking, it's already went through the rest of it. See here? So we stayed safe. We stayed safe from this zone because I knew that it had already been touched over here. That's why I colored it light green, meaning there's something sketchy about it, or sus, as the young kids say it these days. Sus, right? Suspect. So now at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and delete that zone for one. I'm going to get rid of all these lines up here. Okay. Because all I care about is the unfilled orders below this resistance line at the moment. So for the moment, I'm going to leave that there. I've already got an alert set. Okay. That alert is at, what's that? 43.59. Okay. 43.59 half on gold. Bullish fundamentals, bullish sentiment analysis, bullish technicals, clearly, for all the metals, most of the metals, probably all the metals. I mean, I really only look at gold and silver, but there's copper, there's platinum. I keep an eye on from time to time. But again, I don't have those on my, I don't have the other metals on my, any of my brokers, so I don't really trade it. But yeah, that's it, guys. This is probably one of my favorite setups right here. I got to be honest. The more I look at this. Now, and then let me look one more time at the daily here. Yeah, if I had to nitpick, other than the fact that the volume wasn't the greatest, okay, we saw that on a 4-hour time frame. If I had to nitpick even further, I do not like how many days in a row that price was at that price point, that range. Look at these wicks. So 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. So that's 6 days in this price point. Okay, give or take, because obviously price dropped lower at some points, which you could look at as a refresh or a reset. But I just look at the fact that price was in that range for a whole week, a whole intra week, right? So that's minus 1 point just in my head. It's minus 1 point also because of the lack of volume. So that's -2. But it looks really good and makes up for it pretty nicely when I have a double top, form of resistance, form of supply zone that got chewed through back here because of this price area. So I like it for the time being. Again, I'll put a small position on it. If it fails, I've got another one below. So I feel like even if I get a small loss in this zone, okay, I feel like if price comes down and gives me a cheaper price, then I'll be able to make up for that loss and then some. Because I would know that the banks would want to target the higher time frame supply and demand zones. So if they come down to this, if they come down to, let's just say this one down here, well, at that point, the new higher time frame supply zones is going to be up here. Now, this isn't a true supply zone yet because it hasn't broken through a structure, a higher time frame structure. But if I'm buying down here as a bank, I'm wanting to target that higher time frame supply. It's a magnet. These zones act like magnets, right? Act like magnets. So I've got about 14 minutes, guys. If you got any last second assets you'd like me to look at, let me know. Otherwise, we can definitely take a look at, let's see here. Let's take a look at the indices real quick. I can tell you right now, my bearish Forex pairs on my list over here, okay, the pound Aussie and the euro Aussie, they just need to break some structures, and I don't think it's going to happen this week. I really don't, because of liquidity. But we'll take a quick peek anyway. But I won't take too long on it, just because I know that we're not anywhere close. So euro Aussie, pound Aussie. Okay, here's our euro Aussie. Now we have, let's go to a daily. Okay, lower lows, lower highs. So basically, you guys see the trend line I've already drawn up there. Basically, I'm waiting for price to break through the structure, the rest of this daily demand. Okay, the rest of this daily demand, break through it. It's already went through most of it, but then it came back. Well, now we're trying to break through the rest of it. So just like my red line shows here, I would like to see price drop further to break this former resistance back in time, and obviously the rest of that demand zone, and get a close down here, and then a return to a price to sell. So like right there, I see a daily, there's a daily supply zone, right? Let's go zoom in right here. Why don't I use that as a daily supply? Well, because if you look at the bottom of the candle, it overlaps the second candle. So that's an efficient price market, that's efficient price structure, price action, right? My first inefficiency is off of that candle, because if you look at the leg out candle and then the top of the candle after, you got a gap, right? Got a gap from here to here. There's your daily gap. Okay. So that means I need to wrap a box around, obviously, the candle preceding it. So there's going to be my daily supply. Right. At this point, price looks like, yeah, it's pretty much making a double bottom at the moment. So I would really like this zone if it manages somehow to come down and break and close below this point and the rest of the supply. But if it doesn't, and if it just comes straight up in there, I may still get into a trade if I find a supply, but it'd just be much less volume, much lower risk, right? And right now, looking at a 4-hour time frame in that daily supply, I don't think I see a good zone. Go dig in a little deeper. It looks like NASI hit our alert, so we'll take a look at here in a second. But yeah, just finishing this up. Yeah, I don't really have it's too efficient through here. I don't have any inefficiencies, so I don't know that I'm going to be that interested, at least on a 4-hour time frame. So yeah, that's Euro Aussie. It's a ways away. Again, we did just have an alert hit on my NASI, so let's go take a look at that. And perfect, because we got 10 minutes. All right, here's our NASI, guys. So just to refresh on the NASI, you can see we got a bullish 8 score. So there's a couple of the growth factors not in the favor of it. Couple jobs market factors not aiding this bullish bias either, but the technicals, the trend, the seasonality, and this is similar for all the U.S. indices, along with your inflation numbers and about half the jobs market numbers and growth numbers, okay, are all bullish. So there's plenty of good reasons to be buying this. So let's go back to the NASI now. Now look, so we've hit this higher demand zone again. Do I really want to get excited about buying an expensive demand zone? Is that the origin of a strong move up? Well, where's the origin? What's going on, Adelina? I had some fun trying to figure out OBS this morning. It was a mess, but I'll get it fixed. So this is the origin of the strong move down here. Okay, if we're looking at some higher time frames, go to a daily. Let's turn my drawings off. You guys know I get too many lines on here at times. Let's turn off that as well. Hey, where's my origin? First of all, where the hell is my impulse legs? Hey, if you look at this on a daily time frame, this just looks like one big giant. What do we got? A head and shoulders forming? We got something like this, head and shoulders. There's the head and like a double shoulder action going on. I don't know what the hell that is. I don't know, guys. It doesn't look great. Honestly, the NASI doesn't look great. I wish price would have busted through this swing high and that supply zone for me to want to get into a bullish trade on a higher time frame, but I don't have it. So I have to resort to the smaller time frames. Okay. So let's go back down to the 4-hour. You could say that this is a 4-hour demand from here to here, right? But it's just kind of weak. So think about this. The range of this 4-hour demand zone, okay, from top to bottom, let's just call it 116 points, right? Well, did it go 3 to 1 above it? Did it go 116 times 3 to the north? Hell no, it didn't. Only went 216. So not even, I guess it'd be about 1.25 to 1, right? So did it give me a good pay range? Not really. Not on a 4-hour, it didn't. So that's why I have to go down to a smaller time frame. Okay. So I just divide by 4. That's typically my rule of thumb, divide by 4. Well, if I go down to a 1-hour, this looks like pretty efficient price structure through here. Did I have any gaps? Okay. Did I have any gaps here? No. All these candles are touching. See this wick here, touch this wick here. So this is all pretty efficient on a 1-hour. I got to step down my time frame. Go to a 30. What have I got on a 30? Look at here. There we go. There we go. There's my zone with a gap. Okay. 30 minutes demand. So that's my unfilled orders. And there's my gap right there. Sign of strength. Okay. Price was strong enough to blow through, leave that inefficiency in the market, which is this gap. And then did we go 3 to 1? Did we go 3 units of this range? Let's measure it out. We might be onto something here. Okay. That's going to be, let's just call it 67 points. 67 times 3. My math sucks. I'm going to round that up to 70. So 7, 14, 21. Did it go 210 points? It did. There's 222 right there. So I do like this area. Now, are we currently at this area? No. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yes. I was looking at the wrong zone. So yes, we are. So we are in the zone. So we could technically buy this thing, but I want to do it on a smaller time frame. Let's go down to a 5-minute. Yeah, look at this. Big drop into price, into the range. Now, aggressive would be just to smash the buy button now, because I've got a 3 to 1. Again, if I go back to the 30 minutes, I've got at least 3 units of this range above me. Pretty good volume over here too, guys. Ooh, that looks nice. Now, did I bounce into any overhead supply zones? So let's go to a higher time frame and look. Let's look at that point, but on a smaller time frame. No, that's just like so look at this. So this leg up formed on no volume. Am I really that worried about it? No. Did it come to the top of this quadruple top? No. But if I look at my overall swing high and swing low, okay, swing low down here, swing high up here, I have to keep in mind I'm at a high expensive price point. Now, one knock against it, I mean, it did technically break this swing high, but is that really that strong of a swing high? Probably not. I would have liked to have seen it break through this, but hey, you know what? At some point, you just got to get into the trade. We always want every one of our odds enhancers to line up and match up, but do we always get that? No. So let's just go back to the zone itself. And I know I got like 5 minutes. So at this point, I'm just going to sit here and, ooh, look at my volume. Look at my volume. All right. Actually, you know what? You guys know what? We're good. We're hopping into this son of a gun. We're going to hop in the Nazi. I like it. It's starting to give me a volume, a pretty strong volume. Let's go find NASDAQ real quick. NASDAQ. Okay. So 30-minute. Again, here's my 30-minute demand. All right. Now, this is what you call a panic dip buy. And I'll explain it in just a second. So I'm going to put in my order real quick. And I'm just going to keep this risk. One second, guys. One second. All right. All right. So I just entered what's called a panic dip buy. So what the hell is a panic dip buy? Well, panic dip buy is where you get price just drop like crazy, and then you get a 5-minute candle with a wick on the bottom with extra strong volume. So look at this drop. Okay, big drop, big candle. The volume was elevated, but it's not like it was like, think about this candle for a second. This candle looks to me like it's like what, 6, 7, 8 times bigger than these recent candles. 5, 6, 7, 8, depending on which candle you're looking at. Was our volume 5, 6, 7 times bigger than the recent volume candles? No, it was just twice as much. Okay. But the candle was way bigger. So did effort match result? Wyckoff theory? Not really. Not in my opinion. So what happened is price dropped, and then we got the strong volume on that tiny candle. That's a big stop saying, oh shit, we about to roll around to the upside. because the volume stepped in. It stepped in where? It stepped in our 30-minute demand zone, right? So that's an easy buy right there. I'm going to get into this on my other charts as well. Yeah, I should have gotten into it already, but I had to show you what was up. So let's go over here to my NASI. I'm just doing this on my other computer. Indexes. NASDAQ, 5 minutes. Oh, yeah. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot, ladies and gents. But yeah, panic dip buys. It's an old penny stock trading method that I used to use. Okay. Old one from when I was trading penny stocks. But hey, it works pretty well in currencies as well, or in indices. The whole basis is when price drops like crazy, is the volume matching up? Is the volume matching up? If I've got a gigantic drop, again, that big red candle you see, okay, that was like 5, 6, 7 times bigger than these recent candles. But the volume wasn't. It was only twice as much. So very strong drop. But it should have had higher volume. If it would have had higher volume, then that would tell me that this is a true move down. But because it was just barely double, I feel like it's kind of a fake move, a false move. Okay, breaking through these bottoms. Look at this. One bottom, double bottom, triple bottom, quadruple bottom, however you want to look at that. And then all of a sudden we drop through. Could this be a spring candle? That's just what I'm going to put my money on. Okay, I'm putting my money on it, saying, yeah, it is. Because when it hit the zone, that's where the biggest volume was. When it hit my 30-minute demand zone, you guys see that candle right? This is a 1-minute time frame. That's where the volume was the strongest. So at this point on a 1-minute chart, as the candles fall, okay, they're pretty similar in size, I guess. The volume kept growing. But now it hits with the biggest volume. And on a 1-minute chart, we get almost a engulfing candle, not quite. Okay. But really strong volume again. Red candle, a little less volume. Green candle exits the zone. So yeah, I like this. I like this entry. We'll keep an eye on it. But guys, it's 8 o'clock my time. So I'm going to end it there. I'll let you know how this trade goes tomorrow when I hop on. I'm going to hook up with probably my team as well, try to figure out my dang OBS software. But yeah, with that, I'm going to hop out of here. And we'll see how this trade goes, and see you guys tomorrow. Just keep an eye on my stream channel there at Trade Like a Tiger as well. You see Coach Adelina peeking in there at She Trades Fire. She'll be on later on, and Coach Sam should be on here pretty soon if he's not already as well at Sammy Saleh Futures. So keep an eye on all of our charts, all of our channels. We're trying to figure out this streaming game. We're not the greatest at it. I think they're better than I am, but we'll figure it out. I'll figure it out, guys. I'll make sure that the stream doesn't keep dropping all the time, so on and so forth. So with that, peace out. I'll see you all tomorrow.